joining us back here on the program, getting set. It's 12th year in the NFL. Unbelievable. It was back in 2008 that he was a second-round pick out of the U, and the four-time Pro Bowler from the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line, Calais Campbell, back here on the show. How are you, Calais?
Oh, man, I can't complain. Happy to still have a job and to be playing this game I love.
12 years. 12 years. What would you tell that rookie about the NFL that you know now so well? What would you tell that rookie?
Enjoy it. Enjoy every minute of it. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and it's hard to get to 12 years in the NFL. It's definitely been an incredible ride, but just enjoy every minute of it, because it flies by.
So where was your Brinks truck to arrive? Where was that? Where was your Brinks truck?
Yeah, that was impressive. That was funny. Ha Davis, the comedian that was doing the announcement for him.
Oh, that's who that was?
Yeah, he was funny. That guy is. They did, I guess, they did a commercial together for Adidas, and so that was something that drew up. But that's kind of funny. Got to make interest,
I should have followed the money. So this was a shoe deal situation that they did.
Yeah, I think so. But all I know is being a U guy, Reggie Wayne used to have the best entrances to camp.
Oh yeah, he really did. I mean, he would show up. I guess he would show up sometimes by air, by plane, by car. I know that. I know Reggie would do that sort of thing. So do we know who told Tom Coughlin that Jalen Ramsey was doing this? Who is that person, Calais? Is that you? Are you the one who informs, hey Tom, guess how Jalen got here?
I'm pretty sure he's not on social media, so I have no idea. But
there is somebody on that staff. There is somebody in the building whose job it is to tell Tom Coughlin stuff like that, right, Calais?
I'm sure. I have no idea who that guy is, but I'm sure there is.
You're dealing with different flowcharts, I'm sure. Okay, let's get into it here. What happened to your team last year? I mean, how would you describe your 2018 season in Jacksonville, Calais?
Oh, it was terrible. We big expectations, and we didn't play as well as we wanted to. But the good thing about that is that it was a learning experience. We have a young team, matured a lot. You can see, the guys who are still here from that team. There's a lot of maturity, a lot of lessons being learned. So, I think it's going to pay dividends this year. This team that we have this year is special. I love the energy in the locker room right now.
Tell me about it. How's it different?
Really, just a lot more. You guys are locked in, and not to say we were locked in last year. I mean, every year, there's always some battles and things you have to go through. But, just the energy and the speed we play with, the competition, the energy that Foles brings is very impressive too. He's a great competitor. We're out there going back and forth, and I just love the way he competes with us. And he talks a little trash, and it's definitely fun.
Well, hold on a second, because you led me to my next question. Nick Foles talks trash? He talks trash? Really?
I mean, it's like the fun kind. Not the It's definitely though. He gets me to jump outside. He's gonna let me know. Or if he, he throws a good ball. He's just a look he gives in. You got to talk trash. He throws a good ball. He just has that look. That's just like that was special.
But how does having a guy who's a Super Bowl MVP at that position, and I know again, what Blake Bortles meant to the team when he was drafted there, and what they hoped to have, and how close you did get to the Super Bowl. That Nick Foles won. Okay, that said, how has Foles made it different that you have somebody that with that steady hand and resume at that position, Calais?
I think the biggest thing is is wisdom. When you're he's a 30-year-old quarterback, and me personally, I think quarterbacks are in their prime when they get to 30. There's some guys who really flash early in their careers, but most quarterbacks, in my opinion, when they get to 30 is when you really start understanding the game at the highest level, where you can, really dissect, what people are trying to do to you and attack weaknesses of defenses. And so when we're out there against, Foles, I can tell he knows what we're trying to do. He knows what the weaknesses are in our defense. He's really trying to exploit them. And what it does, it makes us a lot better, because now we have to be on our stuff about, playing towards our strengths, protecting our weaknesses, and knowing where we need to be sharp at. And, that when you have that, it makes you iron sharpen iron. We're all better.
Yeah, crisper at the position, and maybe a little bit more. Is there more respect in the locker room?
There's a lot of respect, man. These guys love the game of football, and when you love the game of football and you're out there playing for one another, you build that respect, and each year that's something you have to do. You have to build respect. And, as a whole, the team has really been, guys are competing, earning their respect. And Foles, especially, he's a guy who, he came in and just put his head down and worked, and just naturally, earn the respect of the guys in the locker room.
Well, I mean, and I don't just throw that around, Calais Campbell, the Jaguars. I just don't throw that around. I mean, look, you've been in this league again 12 years, so you've seen it all. Last year going into the season, what Jalen Ramsey had to say publicly about a lot of other quarterbacks around the league, including his one in his locker room, set off a little bit of an alarm bell in parts of the NFL trying to suss what the Jaguars were all about. Has that all just been swept out with the changes that were made in the last, say, few months, Calais?
Yeah, I feel like each year you have to reestablish, who you want to be in your identity. And so, you really kind of start with a clean slate. And so, it's a new clean slate. And, guys came in and really put the work in. And, and so I feel like, I think the energy in the locker room is better. And, I mean, we have a way better schedule, which I think I take my hat off to Coach Marone because he created the last couple of years, our training camp was, we had a different schedule that was really, really demanding. And I think that making these adjustments really gave us a lot of it made coming in a lot more fun for the guys. So we're in here having a great time, and you can see guys really getting better and loving being in the locker room, loving being working and stuff. And I think that pays big dividends.
Interesting. So Doug Marone has switched something up. Can you give me an example of that, Calais?
There's a lot, that is different, to a degree, but I think a lot of it is just having a schedule that is very friendly, where you can take care of your body, you can spend a little more time in the locker room. And I think that's one thing that the training camp is for, is just being around the guys. And so we get some locker room time where we just get to hang and eat together, and then take care of our bodies, in the cold tub, sharing stories, building that bond. Sometimes we're helping each other, talking about plays on the field. But that time is crucial, being able to have that time. So, I have to take my hat off to Coach Marone because, he's always trying to become a better coach, and he talks to those players, and he listens to us, and sometimes he'll agree with us and tell us, oh, that's a good idea, I'll look into that more. And sometimes like, I don't like that, but that's respect, and you built that trust and communication, and it makes us a better team.
Well, hey, I mean, look, all you got to look at is Coughlin's Giants. I mean, the story goes from the first year that they won a Super Bowl with Coughlin and Eli is that Coughlin relaxed things just a wee bit and then had some sort of, I guess, group of veterans that got together and would come to him with some ideas that players were interested in, change things, and they won a Super Bowl. I mean, that happened. That absolutely happened. That's a fact.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I know. Well, how is Fournette, Calais? I mean, when you talk about clean slates and perhaps maturity, is that a guy that you'd be referring to on that front, Calais?
He's bringing a lot of energy. He's bringing a lot of energy. He's running the ball hard in practice. And he's come to work every day with energy, which is the most thing you can ask for a young player with his kind of ability. Is just come to work with some positive energy, and you see him hitting the holes hard, making moves, challenging us, with his speed and stuff, and I love his personality when he gets into that mode of talking trash and having a little swagger to him, and he's been impressive so far. There's a lot of room, a lot of time. We have a long way to go. We're not where we want to be. But he's definitely impressed me. A lot of guys on the team have impressed me. So, we're exactly where we need to be right now. Just got to keep working.
A couple more minutes left with Calais Campbell of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, so in terms of impressive, one of my favorite moments from the draft, Calais, was the snapshot of your new teammate, Josh Allen, having his kid on his lap. And he's on a landline phone because he can't be on his cell phone because his son is watching a movie on it. And I'm like, to me, that was, and he was all emotional with his head touching his son's head as his moment, as he's hearing from, maybe it was Tom Coughlin or Shad Khan, I don't know who it might have been on the phone telling him that he was a Jaguar. That was just all kinds of awesome. What can you tell me about this young man and how successful he might be with you
I think
this year?
It starts with him just loving the game. You know, you give me a guy who loves the game, you know, we can figure out how to play football the right way. You know, but he has a lot of natural ability, and he's a sponge for knowledge. I mean, he has so many questions, and really tries to understand the details of things, and he'll work it. And I mean, today after practice, we were working on the move, and I was trying to work with him, and he was terrible at it at first. I'm kind of laughing at him how bad he was with what he's trying to do, and he was like, "No, maybe this ain't for me." But then we got to work it a little bit more, and it's like, and he started getting a feel for it, and and I think it's gonna be a big move for him. But the thing is that he's hungry for knowledge. And he's willing to put the work in. He loves the game, and you've seen him in his highlights and stuff. I mean, he's very, very blessed, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does for us. He can definitely help us.
Yes, and have you spoken to Ngakoue anytime lately?
Yeah, he's a guy who we have a really good relationship. And we text a little bit, fairly often. That's my guy.
I know. I'm excited for you, Calais. I'm excited for you. You're 12. It's a significant number for you personally, and then this is a tough division that Jacksonville could absolutely compete and win. I'm very excited for you, Calais. I really am.
Yes, sir, man. There's opportunities there. You just gotta put the work in and make it happen.
Just knock on it. All right. Thanks for the call, Calais. We'll chat down the line.
Always a pleasure. Now take it easy.
Right back at you. Right back at you. Always a pleasure. One of my favorites, Calais Campbell.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.